We're not talking about the main characters, we're talking about Santa Claus. Welcome back to my channel, guys. So today we are kicking off the Christmas season with a tier list video because we haven't done one in a while and this just seems like a good opportunity to do one. So today we are going to be ranking Santa Clauses from different movies that I've seen. I don't know how else to describe that because it's kind of like an odd concept, but basically I saw a BuzzFeed article or a BuzzFeed quiz that was like, can you guess which movie this is just based off a picture of the Santa Claus that's in it? It got me thinking, there's so many different iterations of Santa Claus in movies, and I feel like everybody kind of has their Santa Claus that they picture as Santa Claus. How many times have I said Santa Claus in this video yet? Because it's gonna be a lot. But basically, that's what we're gonna be doing today. I think I have 11 different Santa Clauses. I don't know how to say his name plural. I just have the regular tier list categories this time because, I don't know. I just didn't want to make special ones. Couldn't think of them. Okay, so first up we have the Santa from the movie Elf. And this Santa, he was good. He was definitely good, like very Santa vibes, but honestly he was a little bit intimidating. During the end scene where they're like flying on the sled, or like trying to get the sleigh to fly, he kind of scared me a little bit. He was yelling a lot, just not really my vibe, but he's still an overall good Santa. I would say maybe B or A. It's hard to say since he's the first one on here. I think for now we'll put him in B, but he could be moved to A. He has potential. Okay, next up we have a newer Santa from the Christmas Chronicles, played by Kurt Russell, who is not somebody that I would ever expect to play Santa Claus, and honestly, like, that's one of his downfalls. He doesn't give a ton of Santa Claus energy. You know, he doesn't have the warmness of Santa Claus or the magicalness, but I do think he did a good job in the movie and he was like entertaining and stuff. I'd probably put him in B. So I guess if he's in B, Elf Santa Claus would be an A. So we're gonna put Kurt Russell Santa Claus in B. He was a good Santa Claus, but not necessarily like the most Santa-y of Santa Clauses, you know? I'd put a counter of how many times I say Santa Claus in this video, but I think it would just be too much. Like, I don't even want to go through the editing of that. Okay, next up is our first animated Santa Claus, and this is the Santa from the movie Rise of the Guardians. And if I'm being completely honest, I haven't seen this movie since I was a child, but I didn't even remember really the Santa Claus from this movie. The only thing that's really sticks out in my mind with that movie is Jack Frost, who's the main character. They're like trying to get kids to believe in them again or something, I don't know. But he looks kind of scary. And because he's so forgettable, like, he obviously must have not made a lasting impression on me as a Santa Claus. So D? Yeah, because like I have a very faint memory of him, you know? Next up, we have Tim Allen as Santa Claus from the Santa Claus. He is definitely my favorite Santa Claus. Like, when I picture Santa, he is who I picture. He's just the pinnacle Santa Claus to me. I don't know why. Maybe it was because I watched those movies a lot as a kid, and maybe it's Tim Allen's acting or something, I don't know, but something about him is just so warm and comforting, and he's still like funny and goofy. He's a solid Santa, and you really feel the transformation when he goes from being just regular Tim Allen to being Santa Claus. Like, they feel like different people to me. So he's definitely S tier. He is my favorite Santa Claus. Like, when I was younger and my mom would be like, oh, you know, you gotta leave cookies and milk out for Santa, or you have to write your letter to Santa, he is who I pictured. So staying in the Santa Claus universe, we have Jack Frost as Santa Claus, and he was horrifying. He was a great villain for that movie because he honestly did scare me when I was younger. I should have had the other Santa Claus in the Santa Claus trilogy that's evil, like the clone. He would be D tier because he was horrifying. Anyway, Jack Frost Santa Claus, scary but entertaining. You know, a good villain. And it's hard to pull that off, especially when you're making somebody who is becoming Santa Claus a villain. So honestly, maybe I'd put him in C. He's definitely not a good Santa Claus, but like, he's a good Santa Claus villain. Listen, it's my tier list. I can do whatever I want. Okay, next we have Nick from Fred Claus. He goes by Nick because, you know, Saint Nick. He was good. Yeah, he was funny and stuff, but the thing is like the entire movie you're sympathizing more with Fred because he's the main character. So for a majority of the movie, you kind of see Nick through the lens of Fred of not liking him because, oh, here's Saint Nick, you know, like goody two-shoes. And I could relate to that on some levels just because I have a younger brother who's kind of like the golden child in my family. But Nick was still a good Santa Claus. He was a very believable Santa Claus to me. So I would maybe put him in A. He was a good Santa. Okay, next up we have another animated Santa Claus, and this is the Santa from the Polar Express. And he horrified me as a child. I mean, the entire Polar Express movie, the animation and stuff just wasn't really my vibe, and all the characters were kind of annoying for the most part. But this Santa was so intimidating, which is not the kind of Santa I want. Like, maybe that's it for some people, you know, like he's this mythical, almost godlike being, and he's meant to be, you know, respected from afar. But I want a Santa that I can relate with, that I can joke with, that, you know, I would feel warm and safe giving a hug. Not this Santa. This is the Santa that gives off the vibes of, you know, I watch you while you're sleeping and I know when you're awake. So, not my vibe. Not my vibe of Santa. He really freaked me out. Honestly, I'm gonna put him in D. Sorry, not sorry. Next, we have the animated Santa from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and he is so sweet. This is the most, like, grandpa Santa to me. He's a very grandpa energy guy, and I love him. He was a great Santa. He's animated very well. He's funny. He's a little bit, he's got a little bit of like old-fashioned views, which plays into the grandpa aspect of him. You know, like I feel like he could maybe be a little not PC. We'll just put it that way. But other than that, I really like him. I would maybe put him in, I'd put him in S. Because again, he is, for a long time, especially when I was younger, I think he is what I would picture when I pictured Santa Claus, you know? He's no Tim Allen though. Tim Allen is definitely ahead of him. Honestly, I should have a completely separate Tim Allen tier. Okay, next we have Krampus. And I never actually saw Krampus, but I just thought it would be funny to include on this video. But he looks horrifying. I don't like horror movies, and that's definitely not the vibe of Christmas. So Krampus is going in D because, yeah, he's really scary. But is he scarier than the Polar Express Santa? I think he's maybe a little bit funnier than the Polar Express Santa. Sorry, Polar Express Santa is currently in last place. Okay, next we have the Grinch in all his iterations. This is just a picture of him as Jim Carrey's Grinch, but I also love the animated one. And he is a great Santa, he is, but he's not really Santa. He was just pretending, which is gonna dock him some points. I think if we were just basing this off of just him as the Grinch, he would be S tier because I really like the Grinch. But if we're basing this off of him being Santa, he's gonna have to go in A tier because he's not Santa. But we'll put him ahead of these guys because I just like him. He gets extra points for being the Grinch, but he does get docked points because he's the Grinch. You know what I'm saying? And last but not least, we have Santa from Here Comes Santa Claus, the claymation animated movie. I love this movie. I'm pretty sure this is the one with and the Snowmeister and the Heatmeister and stuff. This is a great movie. This one should be played more often, honestly. Yeah, I really liked him. This is a younger Santa Claus, a little bit different. He hasn't grown the beard quite yet. I mean, he does by the end of the movie, but... And he's great. We love a young Santa, just getting started, you know, learning his way. He's more relatable because he's a little bit more human. But I don't necessarily picture him as Santa. A little bit more on the Kurt Russell realm. So he's definitely ahead of Kurt Russell though. I love the movie, but I think he's a B tier Santa. So there you have it. That is my completed tier list. I think it's pretty good, honestly. I just wish I had put a separate Tim Allen category because he is Santa Claus. You can make your arguments in the comments down below about who your Santa Claus is, but to me, it's Tim Allen, and it forever will be. Okay, but we're definitely lacking Santas of color on this list. So, somebody get on that. Let's make some iconic Santas of color. We don't know his race. He's literally a mythical being. Just saying. So that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I put out a new video every Monday, so hopefully during this month I'll be putting up some more Christmas content. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week for another video. Hags! Bye! So that's it for today's video. I cannot speak for some reason. So that's it for what is wrong with me?